Welcome to Henryetta. This is one of our first feed. Actually, it is our first feed, and we're going to do plenty of these where we're going to feature business, interesting people, and many other things over the years to come. And today we are actually talking to a gentleman. His name is Danny Lovell, born and raised in Henryetta, and he's leading a big project in Norman, outside Oklahoma City. And I thought it was a very interesting project. Looked into it a little bit, and we got a little interview with him. So let's take you right there, right now.
He was telling me that he and his partner just took ownership of the Henryetta at the 1st of June.
So from Bruce, right?
July. Yeah, from Bruce.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I don't personally, but my parents do. My father's been the family doctor there in town for 50 years, so he knew Bruce still, and most of everybody in Henryetta. So yeah, we knew him. Or my family did.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Bruce is actually he's still staying on board with us. So he's gonna be in a transition period. At least he's gonna stay with us and work with us. You being a local, I guess, big part of your life, you've been part of Henryetta, right?
I'm born and raised. Yeah, I actually moved there when I was 1 year old. My family did, and I left in high school. So I went to grade school, middle school, and high school there in Henryetta. Was a night. Obviously, my entire family, with the exception of my brother, still lives in Henryetta. So I've got very close ties there. Still come back at least a couple of times a year to see my parents and other friends that are still there. So yes, Henryetta has been a big part of my life, and certainly where I'm from. Thank you very much for having me. Excited to be on today. My name is Danny Lovell. I'm the president and CEO of Rainier Companies based in Dallas, Texas. I'm a Henryettan, effectively born and raised. Spent 18 years in Henryetta. Entire family is still there. So certainly excited to be interviewed by the local paper, local news source.
Right.
We got involved in this project through our purchase of the #1 traffic shopping center in the entire state of Oklahoma back in 2019. We bought University Town Center, which is located in Norman, about 4 miles from campus, just south of Oklahoma City. And during that acquisition, we got to know the University of Oklahoma Foundation, who owns some neighboring land. They were at the time going through a process to try to relocate what is Lloyd Noble and the basketball facility. And we got involved with them because we were a neighboring landowner, and ultimately helped strategize on the best ways to create a destination with a basketball and gymnastics facility there in Norman. So back in about, I guess, 3 years ago, we started discussing with the foundation various ideas and options, and they came to us and said, "We'd like for you to be a part of the development." And at the time, we had never really developed anything, certainly of this scale, in my career. However, our firm and some of our partnerships had, and so we leaned on some industry contacts. One of them, notably, is a gentleman named David Neer, who was at the time with Lincoln Property Company, and we strategized on how to bring a entertainment district and new basketball and gymnastics facility to this location within Norman. We partnered with Lincoln to be our development partner, and subsequently, David actually joined our firm, and we created what is now Rainier Development Company. So Rainier Development Company is a mixed-use developer nationwide. We have about $2 billion in the pipeline, one billion of which is this project, and then we have two other projects, one located in Tulsa and another located in Georgia. And so we're excited to be a part of this project. There's many partners involved, not only us and the university, but the Lincoln Property Company, a group who will ultimately develop and manage the arena. We will not be managing the arena long term. And we expect to build or be a part of building the 8,000 seat arena, about 140,000 square feet of entertainment retail, heavily curated towards food and beverage, up to 750 multifamily units, as well as some medium density single family residential units that could be for rent, it could be townhomes. We're still working that out with local demand, as well as office uses and at least one hotel. So we're excited to be involved in the project and have been leading the charge publicly and politically with the university for the better part of 3 years.
All right. So this, to me, it sounds almost like you're building a little mini town outside of Oklahoma City. It's in the outskirts of Oklahoma City, right?
Yes, sir, it is. Norman has 120,000 residents. Their major employer is the University of Oklahoma, and so we're really adding to it. Norman has been a tourist destination, or for lack of a better term, for many years due to the amount of traffic that the University of Oklahoma brings. Their enrollment is now a little over 22,000, students a year and growing. I think it was 13% last year and 10% the year before. And in addition to that, their movement into the SEC from a sports perspective is gonna enable a significant amount of additional tourists and traffic to Norman for sporting events, not only football, but basketball, softball, gymnastics, etc.
All right. Yeah, that it sounds. I looked at the imaging and the prints that you have from there, and it looks like it's going to be, to me, a pretty good looking exclusive area. It'd be interesting to follow that. Do you have anything, Randy, that you want to fill in or ask a question or?
No, I don't. I defer to Danny. He's certainly the expert on this. He's certainly admired in that area and well known, and his leadership to this project is really invaluable.
Let me talk to you about the process right now. So we started our planning about 3 years ago, and over the last 6 months have gotten through a statutory TIF review committee, which the city of Norman created and which ultimately approved the project 9-0. We then went through the Norman Planning Commission, which also approved the project, and now it's slated for a city council vote, which will be the ultimate approval. That was originally projected to be in July. It's gotten moved. I believe it will now happen in late August. And so the project, while not officially approved yet, has a lot of support, and we do anticipate it being approved through City Council in late August once it goes forward. A lot of people have asked, how are you funding the project? What's in it for the city? What's in it for Norman residents? And so one of the features of this project, along the lines of many public-private partnerships across the country, which happen around arenas, which is very well documented publicly, is the ability for the public to participate. And so certainly there is an ask here by the development team, the entire development team, of some public funding. And that public funding is around the arena, the sports arena. That arena will be used by OU approximately 24% of the time. And community events like concerts, rodeos, graduations, and other community events, 76% of the time. So the city and the community is getting a center for their investment. In addition, there's tax revenue that will be generated from this land, which is currently vacant and has been for sale for many, many, many years. And so the benefit of public-private partnerships is private investment and public investment, which makes a win-win situation for everyone. And so the citizens of Norman will generate a significant amount of dedicated sales tax in addition to non-dedicated sales tax, which will go to repay the portion of the public funding that we're asking for. The entire project is roughly $1 billion. It's actually 1.1 in our vision and estimation. And 230 million of that would be from public funding, and a little over 800 million would be from private sources, which would be our investors and other investors that come with the development partners that are going to help bring development to this area. So the benefit long term is additional tax revenue that otherwise would be very difficult to generate for the city of Norman, which helps fund other public projects that they have slated in their process within their city council. And so we're excited to be able to be a public-private partner, but also to bring a significant amount of private investment to this area.
Yeah. So the major portion of the funding is private resources as far as the funding goes, then, right?
That's correct. We anticipate bringing over $800 million of debt and equity to this project throughout a 6 to 8 year timeline of development. So it's multi-phase development. Phase one will be the arena, parking structure, all infrastructure for the site, as well as the retail portion, which will be heavily food and beverage curated, as well as the first multifamily phase and the hotel. That would be in phase one. Phase two would encompass at least 250 units of additional multifamily based on market demand. And
right.
We are already getting interest from some corporate users, office users that would like to relocate to this area once this gets approved. So we anticipate the office kicking off in phase two as well.
Right. So once the project is approved, what is the timeline for phase one and then phase two and so on? I'm assuming we're talking years rather than months, right?
Yes, sir. Good question.
Do you have a timeline on that?
We do. So assuming the project is approved in late August, we would then get our bond underwriter who would be issuing the bonds for the public funding portion started. And we would also start construction drawings on phase one and the infrastructure on the site. So we anticipate being in the market for bonds late this year or early 2025. And we would plan to start construction mid 2025 for an arena opening for the 27-28 basketball season. So that's a very ambitious timeline. So this August approval is important. However, we do believe that it's possible if we can get approved in August and start our process.
Right. So you're looking at 27, 28. I'm not too much into the basketball part, but when is basketball season? It starts early in the spring, or is it start in the fall and goes through the winter? Or? It starts
in the fall. So it's a good question. I don't know the answer to on exactly when the first date is of the OU basketball season, but I believe it's around October. And so October of 27 is the plan to have the arena open.
All right.
By that time, we will also have the retail built.
All right. So we're looking at 3 years from now. That's when the plan to have the arena built, and I think the community too. To me, it looks like you said, the tax revenues and other things is going to be pretty significant once the whole thing. And you're talking about 750 family units. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir. So there's a housing shortage in Norman. They're roughly 9,000 housing units short of their population and what's needed. And so while this will certainly be high-end housing, we are excited to be able to bring some additional units. The plan that we have will house over 3,000 new Norman residents. And so one of the things that's happening now, once people who attend the University of Oklahoma, young professionals, young families, they generally migrate post-graduation to other cities within Oklahoma City MSA if they stay, and because there's not enough housing in Norman. So whether they're going to Edmond or they're going to Bricktown or Oklahoma City suburb, this project we believe will allow them to catch and keep some of those young professionals and young families and keep them in Norman long term. So we're excited about the residential application that this project will bring.
Yeah, that's an aspect of it. You know, if they housing is not enough, the younger generation, they fly out, they go to Dallas, they go to Tulsa, wherever, and leave the older generation there, and that's kind of puts a damp on development when the younger generation is gone.
Do you want to talk about the number of jobs that this project may bring?
In addition to the housing, which we anticipate to be for more than 3,000 Norman residents, this project is planned to bring over 5,000 jobs to Norman. And so some of those are construction jobs. Many of those are additional jobs within the facilities that we are creating: hotel, office, residential, retail, and entertainment, as well as the arena. Need jobs for all those additional things. So we're, again, the 5,000 jobs and 3,000 housing units helps significantly with Norman growth, and also to put it into perspective, you know, this is a project that's going to be, if not the largest, one of the largest in the entire state of Oklahoma in its history. So a $1.1 billion project or a $1 billion project in Norman, Oklahoma, there's not many projects that have been built, with the exception of maybe Devon Tower in Oklahoma City, that have been of this size and this scale. So I was interviewed by a local Norman TV station, and they asked how this compared to other projects in the state. And we don't believe that a project like this has been built in the state. So in addition to bringing all of this housing growth and job growth to the city of Norman, we're also bringing it to the state of Oklahoma, which is already seeing record numbers of population and job growth. Some of it's spillover from Texas, some of it's spillover, or some of it's increased because of their Oklahoma City's investment into their airport and infrastructure. And so we are long Oklahoma City as a investor. We've been investing in Oklahoma City and its MSA since 2019. And we believe Oklahoma City is going to continue to grow, and our project, we hope, will be a catalyst to some of that additional growth.
I always ask a question, and I don't mean to be negative, but to me it seems like the retail industry and retail stores and all that, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit. It seems like they have huge competition. Amazon has knocked out hundreds, thousands of small businesses around the country. How do you look at that in this project?
Yeah, good question. So we began investing in retail back in 2017. Because we believed that while everybody was concerned that Amazon was going to take over the world from a retail perspective and boxes were going to go away because everybody was going to shop online, what's happened is that retail has changed and retail has adapted. And as I think it's well documented, Amazon doesn't make money in its retail business because of the shipping costs. It costs so much money to actually get that whatever you're buying on their website, that product, it costs so much money to actually get that product to your doorstep that they, in fact, we believe one of the reasons they bought Whole Foods was for a distribution network. If you think about Whole Foods as a grocery store, they actually are within 5 miles of most of the housing additions in the entire United States. And so by purchasing Whole Foods, Amazon actually created a warehouse much, much closer to everybody's doorstep. So
Right.
In addition to understanding the retail, we have over a $1 billion portfolio of retail acquisitions that we've made since 2017, because we believe that retail was going to adapt, and that as there was less and less construction, which there's been almost no new retail development in the last 5 to 7 years,
Right.
that retail would continue to get leased up, and it would change and adapt as opposed to go away. And so that's actually what's happened. And most of the institutional investors in the market today want to buy retail more than any other asset class, because our occupancy is the highest. I think it's
Right.
nationally 96 or 97% is the national retail occupancy. And the reason for that is because, one, there's been no new construction, and retailers have continued to expand. So as they've competed with Amazon fairly well by offering ways to buy online but pick up in the store, retailers like Target and Walmart and TJ Maxx and others have been able to adapt to the changing retail environment and really beat Amazon at that retail game.
Yeah, and Walmart actually has a pretty good network of online stuff, and you can pick it up in the store. Same goes for Best Buy and others. You order online and you go to the store and pick it up.
Yes, sir. So that's a great point. I'd like to comment on. So Best Buy, as an example, I put myself in the consumer shoe for just a second. One of the things that they've done to compete extremely well with Amazon is they've started creating of their distributor of their store network within cities. They've started creating at least one of them, depending on the major city, is slightly larger than the rest. And the reason is so they can ship everything to that hub. And so then what happens in Dallas, as an example, there's 13 or 14 Best Buys. We go in as a consumer, I go into a Best Buy and I want to buy a 60-inch Samsung television, and they have it on the wall, but they don't have it in stock. They can ship it to me at my house. It's going to take an extra week, or I can drive across town and pick it up for free that same day. Well, as a consumer, that's what I want to do. And so now they've actually gotten me as a consumer to drive down and get that television and take it to my home, which is significantly less cost than Amazon shipping it to me. So they've done a very, very good job. Best Buy has been on the cutting edge of that competition with Amazon and other online retailers. They're doing a very, very good job.
Yeah, but that's an interesting aspect. And the smaller store doesn't carry too much of inventory. You have one central huge store or warehouse or whatever you want to call it, and deliveries goes out to the stores or other places from there. That's an interesting, something I never thought of. But today also with the internet, and almost every store has the ability to create a website, have their own e-commerce, local deliveries. Restaurants, in my view, has probably adopted that phenomena more and better than maybe any other industry. And you got companies like Grab, and what else do you got? DoorDash, DoorDash, and they have adapted to that as well. So it's an interesting concept.
So you bring up a very good point. As a landlord in owning shopping centers, we want restaurants that do a tremendous amount of takeout delivery. And when you say takeout delivery, that doesn't mean necessarily that they have people that are going to deliver like a pizza place that is going to deliver to your door, but ease of use or frequency under which these drivers, whether it be DoorDash or Uber Eats, can come in, pick up food, and deliver it is paramount. And the reason is because those retailers do better than just people that come into a restaurant and sit down and eat. Their margins are greater. They don't have to hire as much wait staff. So if you think about that restaurant process, those restaurants do better, their sales per foot are better. As a retailer, I can effectively charge them more rent. And so my investment in retail becomes higher producing. So
Right.
we're very conscious of those types of restaurants located near high demographic income homes.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we look for in our shopping center portfolio. I would just say in closing, thank you for the questions. I'm very excited, certainly, to be a part of the project in Norman, and I'm excited about my roots in Oklahoma. Not only having gone to school in Oklahoma Christian and been in the Oklahoma City MSA for many years, but also being from Henryetta. My whole family's still there, and I'm excited to be a part of a project in Oklahoma. And I think it's been noted publicly, but it's a passion project for me for those reasons. And so very excited for the opportunity, and thank you for covering the story.
Right. And Henryetta is not that far from Norman. So it'd be interesting. We're going to follow the project, and we will put out memos and short little articles about the project and its development over the next year or two. Once you have the final approval in August, come back to us, and we'll do a little bit about that and start pushing to make the awareness of the whole thing, because I think the public awareness will also help building up the excitement for the project and cause that little buzz that all these projects need. Yeah, it was nice to have you guys here. And like I said, thank you for coming on with us today, and we will follow you, and we do a follow-up here soon.